Hi there, welcome to the Lad Mix Farm. Today we want to look at how we can be able to actually take care of our pregnant goats and prepare them for the kidding season. This is the time again, around that time of the year, when we have expectant goat mothers, and so we'd want to see how we can adequately give them that attention they deserve if they are to give us what we actually need. It's important to probably take care of your pregnant, goats. First of all, to ensure that all the steps have been carefully taken care of. For instance, ensuring that they have enough space for them to be able to move around. As they are heavy, they don't need to be congested really to be able to knock themselves and so forth. They need to have that space and be able to move around freely. So that they exercise and get that, that comfort. Ensure that, first of all, the backs are removed. When we have these pregnant mothers, in most cases, we remove the backs for a period of about 3 months until these goats give birth and are, comfortable without having the discomfort of the he-goats, trying to sniff at them all the time. And so one key thing is to ensure that they are free of the he-goats around, their exercising yard. And as you know, as you continue exercising or practicing the synchronization approach, whereby you allow all your goats to go through the mating season at once, that makes it easier for the goats to actually give birth in one season. Say for a period of 2 months, they will be, or 3 months giving birth. And therefore you are able to pay that keen attention to these mothers and ensure that they are very comfortable. First of all, I talked about the congestion. Make sure that they're in a space that is, enough for them. Since they are heavy, they need to move around freely. They don't need to have themselves boxed in a small area. That is very key. Ensure to shelter them from strong winds and the rain. As you know, they don't like that. And so you'll try to see how you can make sure that they are very comfortable, in an environment where they are in. Feed them properly. Give them some additional foods. Even if you have enough grazing area, you can still see how you can get some of these leafy branches from trees. Feed them. If you have, let's say, an orchard and you're trimming off some of those unwanted branches, let's say from the avocados or mangoes, just be able to supply them. Provide the block salt, the mineral block salt. That is very, very key to help them acquire those extra, minerals that could be lacking in some of these other, plants where they go and pick some of this food. So at the same time, you will have followed the right deworming schedule. Remember, as the expectant mothers, you don't want them to have this headache of worms, bothering them. So once you follow the right deworming schedule, you're able to have, mothers that are going to give you kids, but also with a healthy body. So it's very, very important that you also make sure that you spray your animals weekly. Ensure that they don't have the discomfort of the ticks, of the fleas, bothering them. That's very key. And in some cases, you'll find that these goats, they are those that are actually aggressive. Yes, they are together in a confined area, spacious as it may be, but there are those that are a headache to the others, that really like knocking the others. It's very important for a farmer to have a keen eye and study the behaviors of the different goats in your yard and be able to see how you can support them. For if you realize that there are those ones that like knocking the others, try to find a way of secluding or removing those ones that are, a pain to the others. You can seclude them and make sure that they are staying alone and let the other ones that are more gentle and amiable to each other, kind of stay together. You'll find that some of these goats that knock around have horns, and you find they are inflicting wounds on the other goats. Others know how to pick on goats that are generally weak. So you find that there is this goat that is peaceful, but there are others that like picking on it. So in that case, you'll be able to pick out that particular, goat and put it aside. until it gives birth. Otherwise, when they continue knocking it, chances are that it can end up, experiencing abortion, something that can easily be avoided by keenly looking at your animals, studying them, and getting to know the traits, and the behaviors of the animals you are having on your farm. Now, remember, as the goats start giving birth, it is important that the herdsmen keep a keen eye on the goats. You can be able to actually sense that this goat is actually in labor. They tend to, move around, make unnecessary noises. You see a level of discomfort. And therefore, as they graze around, it's important that the herdsmen don't take these animals quite far from home or from their, shelter. This is because that as they give birth, it will be easier for the herdsmen to carry these kids and, bring them back home. Sometimes if it's in the bush, it's very hard, to identify some of these animals, because you realize that the herdsmen, with a great number of goats, some may be in the bush and may not be able to trace them quite easily. But if you graze nearby, you are able to count your animals when they come back, and then you sense and be able to determine those that could be missing. It could be that it has given birth and it's concentrating on its kid. But if you're grazing nearby, you're going to be able to trace that animal quite easily and bring it home. Now, it's important that once this goat, gives birth, try to leave the young kids with its mother for a minimum of 3 hours. Now, if you have enough room and you have maybe a labor wing where the pregnant mothers give birth from, you can be able actually to, put these mothers that have just given birth with their young ones there. Say for a full night, if she has given birth in the evening, there is no need to really remove this kid, even if it's after 3 hours. You can be able to leave it to spend the night with the mother and the kids. But if it's during the day, you can also decide to leave the mother and the kids in a certain paddock. Leave them there for the whole day. It provides them with an opportunity to bond very, very well, and therefore by the time you really separate them, it will have mastered, get used to the scent of its baby. Otherwise, when you remove the child, when you remove the kid, when the mother has not really gotten used to it, chances are that when you bring it and you want it to suckle, the mother will just, reject its kids. So it's important that they have ample time. But also during this process, remember, you have a number or a mixture of goats. There are those that are not first-time mothers, but you also have those which are first-time mothers. The herdsmen and the people around should be able to have that skill to support these new mothers to give birth. You'll find that some of these new mothers try to push, but when they're having difficulty, and sometimes you find that maybe it's because the child, the kid is very big and cannot be able to to push by itself. So by having that technique of being able to support the mother as it pushes, and as it pushes, the support person, the herdsman, is able to also help as tries to pull the baby out and baby aid, these goats to give birth effectively. Remember, this is one of the major challenges of goat farming when it comes to the kidding season, especially if they are first-time mothers. And you'd want to actually do that one very well, because you realize that is where you're going to, get your profits from. It's not the mother, but it's the outcome of the of the breeding season. When they're able to give birth, that's when you can be able to raise these and be able to realize, your income through the kids. So proper attention that is given to the, to the goats is very key to help them, be able to, survive and move on very well. Now, once these kids are born, of course, it's important that they are left within the shelter for a considerable amount of time. Say it could even take up to 3 months before you can actually remove them and allow them to be able to follow the mothers. As they are there, you're supposed to be able to see how you can make arrangements to release the kids to be able to suckle effectively with their mothers. But ensure to take care of the mothers very, very well, because they'll be able now to release this milk that is very, very key for the growth of these goat kids. Thank you very much. I hope that has been very informative. See you next time.